Hello students, I am here as your teacher today to give you a quick overview of Unit 2, Website Design. And with me is my assistant, and he's also very tech savvy, so I usually use him on my videos for instructional time with students. So taking a look at the unit, I wanted to kind of give you a quick overview. This is Unit 2, and within Unit 2, there are two chapters. In Chapter 1, there are 9 lessons. Lesson 9 is actually a project. In Chapter 2 of Unit 2, there are lessons 10 through 14. 14 again is also a project. So what I want you to keep in mind is everything that we're doing from start to finish, we're starting from scratch and we're building a website. And your website should be on something that you are interested in. And I'll give you a little sneak peek into my topic. I enjoy taking a cruise at Christmas. So my website is all about taking a cruise at Christmas time. So as we go down the lessons, you can see in lessons 1 and 2, you're going to be navigating this first on your own, and then I'll provide an instructional video the following day. I'm just your lead learner. I'm not an expert, but there's more than one way to do something, and I want you to be able to figure this out, think outside the box, and do this on your own as much as possible. So in lesson 1, we're going to take a look at exploring websites. Which websites do we use? I use Google all the time. That's one of my favorites, but there are so many others, and I want you to be thinking about those that you like to use. And then, of course, lesson 2, we'll talk about websites for instruction. As we get into lesson 3, this is where we actually do plugged or lessons on the computer, and I'm going to have Josh jump in and just give us a quick summary of what does it mean, what are we learning in lesson 3, intro to HTML.
So in lesson 3, we're dealing with what's called tags, and tags are basically it's how the browser tells the browser what to do with the content on your page. So the tags are basically the code that you're concerned with.
And you'll notice too, you've got these wonderful code videos. So this is Intro to the Web Lab, which we'll be using videos part 1 and part 2. Then we go on to lesson 4, headings, which again, Josh, if you want to jump in.
Headings are larger font text that can be used to describe parts of your web page. So like if you want to have some text at the top of your page and you want to stand out, you want to use a header.
Of course, that's excellent. Lesson 5 is our digital footprint. We'll spend a little bit of time on this because this is really important. If you're putting something online, it's anybody in the world has access to it. So we want to be really careful not to put personal information out there just for anybody to see. Josh, you want to add anything to that?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. And then lesson 6, we have lists. What does that mean, Josh?
So if you've probably made lists before in your notes, like a bulleted list or numbered list. That's the same concept. You can create bulleted lists or numbered lists using this lesson.
Good. And then lesson 7, intellectual property and images. What does that mean?
Basically, whenever you use a picture on your website, you want to make sure you have permission. So sometimes they'll have you'll see images on the internet and they'll tell you what you need to do to give proper attribution. So we'll get more into that as we get on to lesson 7.
And then when we go on to lesson 8, one of my favorite things, cleaning code and debugging. If we put together some code and it's not working, there's an error somewhere. So this lesson talks about cleaning up our code.
Exactly. Debugging is just the process of eliminating problems on your website. This lesson also talks about comments, which are used to give more information to your code. So if something is supposed to work a certain way, you can write a comment, and if it doesn't work that way, you can always come back to it.
Exactly. In lesson 9, here's our first project in unit 2. That's where we take the websites that we've been creating and join them together. So we should end up with 3-page website at this point, right, Josh?
Yes, and hyperlinks are how you transition from one web page to another. So that's whenever you click on a link, that's a hyperlink. That is what we will be talking about in this lesson.
I remember from last year, I used the word hyperlink multiple times. That was a difficult concept at first, but if code is not written exactly the way it's supposed to be, it just doesn't work. So I want you to take your time and really not try to rush through this. All right, so now we're taking a look at Chapter 2, Styling in CSS, Lesson 10. What does that mean, Josh?
CSS is basically a formatted text document that will give you instructions on how your HTML page is supposed to look. In lesson 10, we'll look at things like different colors, like for text, font sizes, font alignment, etc.
Very good. So in lesson 11, styling elements with CSS, it looks like we continue the introduction to CSS style properties.
So with CSS, you can change the way things look, not just with text, but with things like images or headers. Um, these are more attributes that can be applied to lots of elements, not just text, images, and headers, such as width, height, adding a border, giving a background color, etc.
You can really be, this is my chance to see how creative my students can be with this. This is a lot of fun. In lesson 12, sources and search engines.
I really don't have any notes on this one.
Right, there's nothing really, it's just, we're just going to talk about that when we get to that lesson, but yeah, we want to, there's nothing that really that you have to do in this lesson, correct?
It's just read the lesson overview, and that's all you have to do.
Okay, lesson 13, RGB colors and classes.
Okay, so colors can be expressed in 3 different values: red, green, and blue. Any color you want to create can be used with the combination of those 3 values. And it might not make sense right now, but we'll get into it a little bit once we get to this lesson.
Right. We will have a video for each individual lesson to help you and guide you. This is just our overview. And then we finish Unit 2 with another project, your personal portfolio website. And you will actually have an opportunity to share your website in class with your fellow students.
And you will be working on this project on every single lesson. It's just it'll accumulate. You'll do more things like add certain things you learned in certain lessons. So this project is a long-term thing that you'll be doing with every lesson.
Right. It'll take us several weeks to get through it, and then of course at the end there will be a post-course survey for you to complete as well. So that's just getting you started, and you'll hear more from us as the days go on. Good luck.